We've learned about metacognition and that it's a combination of our text and thinking. But there are many, many metacognition strategies that we use as readers. And one of the best strategies that we can use is that of asking questions when we read. Asking questions gets us to think more carefully about the text. And sometimes our questions then lead us to more thinking. Of course, some of the questions that we can ask or go to answer are ones that we call on the surface. These are the ones where we can find answers on the surface or right in the text. They're easier to confirm, and they require those lower thinking levels of simply remembering something, understanding something, or perhaps even applying something that we've learned. There's not as much mental effort required when we ask and answer on the surface questions. Those below the surface questions require us to really dive into the text and use our thinking. We've got to find clues and mix our thinking to answer. This is where we often do some analyzing of texts or even using strategies of evaluating. When we go below the surface, we're doing a lot of inferring and constructing meaning from that. And then we have those questions that take us beyond the book. These are our lingering questions, ones that really cannot be answered. But they certainly are great for deeper thinking. Now, when we think about asking questions, we can kind of think about moving along or progressing in stages. We, of course, can ask questions on the surface. We can work towards going more below the surface, and then we've got those questions that leave us wondering. This chart or tool is something that I learned about recently when I did some work with other teachers. And it's something that we call a micro progression. I'll explain. So in the etymology lesson for our comprehension notebooks, we learn about Greek and Latin roots or stems, which are word parts that influence our language. Roots and stems can be found in many different words, and so if we learn the stem or root, it helps us expand our word knowledge. And so we have this fabulous chart, and look right here. Here's micro. Micro means small. We find it in words such as microscope, microscopic, microbe, and even in microprogression. So now take another look at this microprogression of skills. What I've done here is I have helped show how to go from a surface level question using the example from the stranger to a below the surface question to a really beyond the book level. In this way, I'm helping show how to take small steps to go from using my lower thinking levels to higher thinking levels to the very highest thinking levels. Let's spell that right. So like you, I am always learning new things. And I came across an article this summer called Microprogression, a safer way to size and strength. And so I'm thinking, oh, this connects to what I'm learning about microprogressions. I'll check it out. Well, right away, it really started to challenge my thinking because it was about weightlifting, which I know very little about. And so I thought, I'm still going to check this out. Because one way that I can improve my understanding of a nonfiction text when I read it is to adopt what I call a questioning stance. I'll explain. When I read a nonfiction text, I expect to learn something. At times, I might learn something new. I might change my thinking about something I already know. Or sometimes I might go, should I believe that? And this is when I am most skeptical. And that's a great word. So what does skeptical mean? Well, it means that I'm not easily convinced or that I might have doubts or reservations. And I think this is important because I know that I shouldn't always automatically believe everything I read. Anyone can put something online, whether it's true and accurate or not. Therefore, I've developed a habit. My reading habit. I adopt a questioning stance. Here's my stance. I keep 3 big questions in mind because a work of nonfiction tries to assert something about our world. Therefore, we need to be skeptical about what's being asserted, and so we should ask questions when we read. Let me tell you about my 3 big ones. My first big question I always ask is, what about this surprised me? And then here are some great thinking stems. I use them. I was shocked about. I was surprised when. I never thought. I could not believe. Or sometimes I even say, really? Here's the second big question I keep in mind. What did the author think I already knew? Sometimes when we read texts, they might be written for people who already have background knowledge or schema about something. For example, when I read a text for improving how I teach, it's written for teachers, and so it automatically assumes that I already know certain things. But in the case of this article on weightlifting, there's going to be a lot of things that I don't know. And so these thinking stems guide me. I did not know. I was confused by. The author assumed, or the author thought I knew. And this really helps me, especially when I read a little more closely. And then here's this third big question. What challenged, changed, or confirmed what I knew. Sometimes when I read something and I'm skeptical about it, it's going to challenge what I already know. Sometimes it might change the way I think, or sometimes it confirms what I already know about something. And so I use these thinking stems. At first I thought, but I had to rethink. My understanding changed when, or I was right or wrong about. Keeping these thinking stems in mind helps guide me when I read nonfiction and I use my questioning stance. So I'm going to show you how I questioned the microprogressions article. So right away, my questioning began with the title of this article. The first question I thought of was, what does the author think I already know? In this case, I realized that he assumed I already knew what a microprogression was, which I did, but my understanding of a microprogression as a teacher does not fit with the size and the strength, so already my thinking is being challenged. That makes me think of the question, what challenges what I know? And I'm having to rethink what I already know to be true. So, in this first paragraph, I had the question, what does the author think I already know, still in my mind? Because this article is written for people who know about weightlifting, which I'm not one of. And therefore, I was then confused by the words bench and plate, because they're used in sentences that don't make sense with what I know about them. Clearly, these words have multiple meanings. I'm thinking that plate might refer to a weight that is added. That seems to make sense. And now I'm guessing that bench might mean like bench pressing, where someone lays on a bench and lifts weights up above them, because I've seen this being done before. Now I'm going to move on to this second paragraph. Here, the 6th and 7th line stands out. Loading too much weight too fast makes for an angry body. My understanding changed when I read this. I think the author is trying to say that someone lifting weights should build up slowly, so it's safer to do a little at a time. I really like the angry body reference. Now, the first sentence here in the third paragraph showed me I was right about adding a little weight and what plates meant, increasing the weight a little bit at a time. I also got confirmation of being right in the fourth paragraph, because the author states clearly that it keeps the chance of injury low. Now, as I go on and I read the 5th paragraph, I read some things that surprised me. I never thought about how you could get stronger in another way than just by lifting more and more weight. But here, the author describes maintain the same weight, but slow down the lowering phase for 3 seconds. And then he says, by increasing the time it takes to complete each rep. Here, the author is assuming that I know what lowering phase means and what a rep is, which I'm guessing might mean time spent lowering the weight back down and taking longer to ease it down, like not let it fall. And so I'm guessing that rep has to do something with repeating because people who lift weights repeat the action. And so now I am rethinking ways to get stronger. Not just by lifting more, but by doing it more slowly. And so here in these final paragraphs, I saw that I was right again. There are two ways or two small microprogressions to help someone get stronger safely. One is by increasing the weight amount slowly, and the other is by going through the motion of lifting slower. Should I ever decide to start lifting weights, this could be helpful information to me. Nevertheless, I am skeptical about what I find online, and I will not automatically assume everything I read is correct and accurate. There are some things I will take into consideration, such as where I found this magazine. It just so happens that it came from a website called Men's Fitness. And they publish a magazine as well. So it seems to be a reputable source. Still, before I trust this information fully, I know that I will want to cross-check it with other sources to feel confident that this author is in fact someone I can consider an expert on this information. Therefore, as readers, you should read with a skeptical eye and a questioning stance when reading nonfiction. Keep these big questions in mind to help you make better sense of what you read. Remember to ask, what surprised me? What did the author think I already knew? And what challenged or confirmed what I knew? And so now I want you to read A Product of Argument and Compromise. Use these Post-its so that you can work on what surprised you as you're reading, maybe noting what does the author think you already know, and what changed, challenged, or confirmed what you know. In this way, you're going to read with a questioning stance.